Hello again. Welcome to the program. I am Suren. Continuing from where we have left, if what we are herein discussing is helpful, then you are using this opportunity like a schooling with a teacher. If what we are talking about is not helpful, then you are not able to. It's not a tragedy. We all are doing what we can. All you can do, and all you will do, is to learn when you are ready to learn. And all that takes is an interest in learning, in watching, in seeing, in trying to understand your own nature. The activity might be lifelong and interesting. In its own way, it's a delight. In fact, we are able to look around from where we stand to those areas we do not understand and are still unknown. That position provides freshness and joy of discovery, the new, the yet unseen, uncontrolled, that what is the aliveness and growth. There is only the process of becoming more sane, more real, truly alive. If you can have some trust in the process, you will enjoy your life and growth and be free from fear that holds you where you are at this moment in time. There is nothing to be afraid of and nothing to lose. There is only the experience of learning, of freedom, of interest, and wonder at the vast reality beyond anything you have seen to which you belong. I don't think it is necessary to understand everything from where you are at this stage right now. You are on a journey, and the trip should be enjoyed. There is no cause for fear. Just realize that the world is a very real place, and there is so much more to do. With some idea of the problem or situation, we can start to talk about solutions and some things practical. You may be worrying about the world, and you can do a lot more good than that of worrying. You need to watch to see who has been in charge until now, because until now you may have been an automated slave. Part of your training was probably to think, I am free, while your robotic circuits buzz. You are issued with so many commands and buttons, and largest of which says, what will they think of me? If this is the case, you are not really free. Just think about it. But you can be. Start by watching. You may want to try depression if it is your style. It may be like an old friend. Its gray fog covers out the details and leads you to bed, feeling helpless. Watch and just walk away and keep walking. Do not stop. What about love? Do you need to watch it also? Oh, yes. I am me when in love. Fascinating, isn't it? Watch it also. The excitement is so alive with joy. Finding out what falling in love is like. Just watch. Watching is a very powerful sword, and it can cut through fantasies with one clean stroke. Watch your usual self. Which self are you? The curtain is open, and the audience never goes home. Watch your own show. Once you watch it, you are off the stage, and so join the audience. Now you're almost there. How would I know when I'm on stage? By how you see. Try artist's vision. splattering emotional paint on the canvas of your world. When you use anger, you probably use solid red with black dots. But all perspective might be gone, and then again hostile power binds the canvas in dynamic unity from corner to corner. Another kind is spiritual glow, and the finest examples employ glow behind the eyes if you are a portrait artist. The paint is a special kind, and you can't be sure if the artist is revealing or concealing. Almost everyone can learn to use depression paint. The cool gray tones create a monochrome whose power resides in the subtle variations of the depth of tone. Everything dissolves in aching peace. Reverse vision can be interesting. The eyeballs turn around and focus on fantasy and remembered dramas. You are now like Nasreddin Hoja, sitting on a donkey backwards, convinced you are facing forward. How about the limbo vision? This is the commonest sign of an actor. Not here and not there, somewhere in between. You can really feel the energy come out to you, filling up your empty space. You may now realize that was so cold out there. You see, object world is constantly on the move. Nothing is stable. Where do we stand? Where we stand in the infinite scale of time and space. Look behind you. As time slows down and the whole world congeals to static shapes. Look ahead in quickening time. Forms dissolve in motion. We discover that living forms are not in being. They are happening. And the world is made up of gradients and not boundaries. The concepts that we created to be our instruments in managing the world have become our masters. Tail wags the dog. We do not perceive the difference between our phenomenal world, the world of being, and our meaning world. So we shroud the world in the gauze of our abstractions. Without the concept of the object self, there is no loneliness. Without the phantoms of imagination, anxiety retreats, unworthy to command. We are living in a world where there are institutions, societies, and groups of all kinds. They all conspire to an overriding plan. No member is allowed to leave, for unity is strength. They all sing the same song. You need us. Outside our sheltering walls is loneliness and death. Be one of us, and we'll take care of you. But what is it like outside the walls? After all, some people have gone outside and confirmed that it was far better than inside. Of course, they are crazy mystics, foreign freaks. When fear departs, the encircling army melts away, although ignorance may still remain. There is still much to learn and discover. Are you familiar with the story of Magic Monastery? Here it goes. A certain quiet dervish used often to attend the weekly meals given by a cultivated and generous man. That circle was known as the Assembly of the Cultured. The dervish never took part in the conversation, but simply arrived, simply shook hands with all present, seated himself in a corner and ate the food provided. When the meeting was over, he would stand up, say a word of farewell and thanks, and go his way. Nobody knew anything about him. though when he first appeared there were rumors that he was a saint. For a long time, the other guests thought that he must indeed be a man of sanctity and knowledge, and they looked forward to the time when he might impart some of his wisdom to them. Some of them even boasted of his attendance at their meetings to their friends, hinting at the special distinction which they felt in his presence. Gradually, however, because they could feel no relationship with this man developing, the guests began to suspect that he was an imitator, perhaps a fraud. Several of them felt uncomfortable in his presence. He seemed to do nothing to harmonize himself with the atmosphere and did not even contribute to a proverb to the enlightened conversation which they had come to prize as a necessary part of their very lives. A few, on the other hand, became unaware that he was there at all, since he drew no attention to himself. One day, however, the dervish spoke. He said, "I invite all of you to visit my monastery tomorrow night. You shall eat with me." This unexpected invitation caused a change in the opinions of the whole assembly. Some thought that the dervish, who was very poorly dressed, must be mad, and surely could provide them with nothing. Others considered his past behavior to have been a test. At last, they said to themselves, he would reward them for their patience in bearing such dreary company. Still others said to one another, "Beware, he may well be trying to lure us into his power." Curiosity led them all, including their host, to accept the hospitality. The following evening, the dervish led them from the house to a hidden monastery of such size and magnificence that they were dazed. The building was full of disciples carrying out every kind of exercise and task. The guests passed through contemplation halls filled with distinguished-looking sages, who rose in respect and bowed at the dervish's approach. The feast which were given surpassed all powers of description. The visitors were overwhelmed. All begged him to enroll them as disciples forthwith. But the dervish would only say to all their entreaties, "Wait until the morning." Morning came, and the guests, instead of waking in the luxurious silken beds to which they had been conducted to the night before, clad in gorgeous robes, found themselves lying stiff and stark, dispersed on the ground within the stony confines of a huge and ugly ruin on a barren mountainside. There was no sign of the dervish, of the beautiful arabesques, the libraries, the fountains, the carpets. "The infamous wretch has tricked us with the deceits of sorcery," shouted the guests. They alternately condoled with and congratulated one another for their sufferings and for having at last seen through the villain, whose enchantments obviously wore off before he could perform his evil purpose. Whatever that might be, many of them attributed their escape to their own purity of mind. But they did not know was that, by the same means which he had used to conjure up the experience of the monastery, the dervish had made them believe that they were abandoned in a ruin. They were, in fact, in neither place. He now approached the company as if from nowhere and said, "We shall return to the monastery." He waved his hands, and all found themselves back in the palatial halls. Now they repented, for they immediately convinced themselves that the ruins had been the test, and that this monastery was the true reality. Some muttered, "It is as well that he did not hear our criticisms. Even if he only teaches us this strange art, it will have been worthwhile." But the dervish waved his hands again, and they found themselves at the table of the communal meal, which they had, in fact, never left. The dervish was sitting in his customary corner, eating his spiced rice as usual, saying nothing at all. And then, watching him uneasily, all heard his voice speak as if within their breasts, though his lips did not move. He said, "While your greed makes it impossible for you to tell self-deceit from reality, there is nothing real which a dervish can show you, only deceit. Those whose food is self-defeat and imagination can be fed only with deception and imagination." Everyone present on that occasion continued to frequent the table of the generous man, but the dervish never spoke to them again. After some time, the members of the assembly of the cultured realized that his corner was now always empty. Story by Shah. The truth is very hopeful, very strong, very real. With that, I say, keep smiling until we meet again, and be happy. Thank you for watching.